Hello, welcome to the Quakes Motel. My name's Conan, I'm the concierge. Sort of a beats from the big chair today. If you follow me on social media, you will know that I had my Boss SP303 sent back to me, or sent to me in Dubai rather, from the UK by a friend who's had it for over 20 years. It's in pristine condition. Now, I've been playing around with it over the last couple of days and just working out different workflows. And what I'm going to do today is show you the workflow that I'm using with the SP404 Mark II and the SP303. Let's jump in. So the way that I've basically got this set up is that I have the outs from the analog outs from the SP404 going into the in on the 303, the out from the 303 going into the in on the 404. This would all make sense. I have then got the MIDI out from the SP404 going into the MIDI in on the SP303. It only has a MIDI in on the SP303. I'll show you how to set that up quickly in terms of settings inside. First thing you have to remember when you turn on your SP303, if you want it to be operated by external MIDI, you need to, when you turn it on, keep your finger down on whichever I've just started a sample there. Keep your finger down on whichever MIDI channel you want it to be operated on. So if MIDI channel 1, turn it on whilst holding down number 1, wait till it boots up, let go, and it will now be receiving data from MIDI channel 1. Goes all the way up to 8 here. If you want it past 8 up to 16, you hold as well. Thank you to a guy called Neartao, spelled N-E-A-R-T-A-O. He has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of videos showing little tips on things like this, the 303, the Live II, loads of stuff. Actually, check his channel out. Really sound guy, really cool. Some really, really useful videos. I think everybody at some point has gone on there and found out, oh, I didn't know how to do that. I found out loads of things that I'm trawling through the internet trying to find it, can't find it. Go to his channel. 9 times out of 10, he's got something on there about it. So check his channel out. So, you've turned on the SP303 and you've got it set up. I have it set up on MIDI channel 1. In settings on the SP404, you need to go into Shift Utility, go into System, go into MIDI, scroll all the way down. So you're on the bottom page basically, and set up MIDI mode B, pad MIDI channels 1, 2, and then if you set note offset to 24, basically what setting note set to offset 24 does is it shifts it by 2 octaves so you can get to channel banks A, B, C and D on the 303. At least that's what I think it does. It seems to anyway. So make sure you have offset set to 24. And that's it. That's actually all the settings that you need to set up. Now, explaining why I've got the outs and the ins going the way they are. The workflow that I am using at the moment, I'm not saying it will stay like this, but it's how it will be for now, is I want to be able to use the sequencer on the SP404. There's nothing wrong with the sequencer on the 303, but it can be a bit of a ball ache. There are a lot of workarounds you have to do, and it's just a bit fiddly and it's difficult to get things right, and you have to keep going back and retrying things. They've moved on a bit on the Mark II 404 from the original 303 and added some really, really handy features. So it just makes it easier to sequence on the 404. But I want to use some of the sounds from the 303. Not all of the sounds. I want to be able to combine the two. And the way that I've got this set up means that you can combine the two. Also, chopping on the 303 is possible, but it's a bit of a nightmare. Again, look, you know, you could 100% make a track on just the 303, and I have done since I got it back. I've been making tracks to the 303, but I've also connected it to my MPC Sample, my Live II, and my 404 in the same way that I've got this set up basically pretty much. I can make one on the MPC Sample if anybody's interested. If you want to see me do a video setting up a workflow with the 303 and the MPC Sample, please write below and I'll do that, because it's really fun. But the purpose of the 404 really is to kind of help me with some of the cons, the handicaps that the 303 has, the strange, weird things that it has. So I can do all of my chopping in the 404. I can do the sequencing in the 404. But if I want to send any sounds into the 303, that's why I've got the output, analog output from the 404 going into the 303. I can then record the samples in there. So I can chop them all up. I can even make them into a sequence, which is what I've done with this particular track here, which I'll show you in a second quickly. It's just a brief demo track. It's not a full track or anything. So I chopped up the sample to get it in time because it was all over the place. It would have taken years in the 303 and it took me about 5 minutes in the 404. And that's what I'm about with workflows. I'm about getting things done quickly. I don't want things to ruin my flow. Now, you can sit there in that kind of romantic world going, oh, I'm just one blues man and his guitar. So I'm just one guy with my SP303. I'm going to 100% make it on that. Why would I do that if I've got tools that can make things easier, but I can still get the sound out of the 303, which is ultimately what I want. The vinyl sim, the filters, the drive, the EQ, the isolator, the low bitrate samples. I can still get all of that out of the 303, but without the hassle, basically. And I'm all up for that. So I chopped it up in the 404 and wrote a sequence, and then rather than record the chops into 303, because I was going to keep that sequence as it was, I wrote my sequences in the 404. It could be multiple sequences. In this case, it's only one. I actually recorded the drums as well, but I didn't end up using them. I'll show you in a second. And then I recorded from my 404 into the 303 on the lowest bit rate, because that's what I want. I want low bit rate. That's the whole point. If I'm going to have sort of the long, which is still nice and crunchy, but not as crunchy, I might as well just stick with the 404. If I'm going to use a 303, I want that aliasing, I want that sound, that really low 8-bit sound. At least that's what I want from it anyway. And you know, with the vinyl sim, etc., those kind of things. So I recorded that sequence into the 303. Now, if I pop my headphones on, so the way that I've got this set up, as I said, I'm not going to be able to fully show you because I don't actually have samples on the other banks, so you can't really demonstrate it. If I just come out of pattern select, at the moment, let's say for instance I was on bank A on the SP404 with these bottom pads here. I think, or was it the other way around? No, it is this way. Yeah, it's kind of backwards. This would operate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on bank A, and this would operate bank B. Going into bank B on the SP404, if you're following me, this now operates bank C and D. So I've got a sample on C1, so it should be this one here. I just want to make sure that this is recording properly. Yes, it is. Right, that's good. And then I've got the drums that I also recorded, but I didn't end up using them because I used a lo-fi on that and they were just a bit too lo-fi, but I'll play them to you anyway. And then that, if you see, as it's on 5, it would correspond with 9 on here. Do you see what I mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then onto D bank would be these ones here. So this 5 would be 9 on here. You follow me, right? Now, what I could in effect do, you have to let the sample play out. There is a way to stop it. You hit delete, cancel, and then it does actually stop it, but I'll let it play. What I could do is, now that I've captured the sound of the 303, I could actually just record it back into the SP404 and have it like that, you know, I could. But what I like, the reason why I wanted to keep this particular sample, it's going to change on every single track that you make, but the decisions I made on this was I wanted a low, really aliasy sounding sample. So I'm going to keep that in the 303, which then means that I can add any effects as I like, if I'm doing a little live performance, or even if I'm recording it into my DAW. If I recorded it into my 404, then I've kind of baked it in and I can only use the effects in the 404. But I wanted to continue to use the effects in the 303. For instance, on this sample, I've got the filter drive turned on, so I can play around with that whilst it's playing in the 404. And then basically what I did is I then made a new sequence in the 404, but using the samples from here. So when I made a sequence, for instance, recording onto pattern 3, I only needed to hit 13 and 9 once, and it would play the drums and the sample from the 303 all the way through. I did, because it's already chopped up, recorded into the 303, and now it's being operated via MIDI from the 404 to 303. I hope this makes sense. Of course it does. Of course it makes sense. Right. So basically what I ended up deciding was I wanted to keep the drums from the 404. They are a little bit dirty anyway. And I can always add a little bit of vinyl sim sound compression. I did actually get baking a little bit of compression on it on the way in, actually. So I kept the drums in the 404 rather than using the dirty drums. And then I had the sample recording here. So just as a 4-bar loop, it's as simple as this. So simple as that. One good fun thing actually, but for the fact that the 303 doesn't turn the sample off when you turn the pattern off on the 404 is it keeps playing, so you can actually have some fun with it. You see what it's doing is it's cutting the drums off but letting the sample carry on playing on the 303. So there you have it. It's quite basic setup really, but I'm trying out different things with the 303 because I really want to use the 303. I love the sound of it. I forgot how much I love the sound of it, but all of the memories came flooding back to me from the last time I used it, which was probably around about 2005, maybe, possibly 2006. This guy's had it for about 20 plus years in the UK. So all these memories came flooding back to me as to why I used to go, you know, because back then we didn't have the technology. You know, you could still chop samples up. At the time I had a MPC 4000 and possibly a 2500 and a 2000 XL and then an S6000 rack sampler. I didn't have my SP1200 at that point. I'd sold it by then. So I could in effect chop up samples in those and then record them into my 303. But, you know, just on its own, you know, nowadays, just linking it up to a laptop or linking it up to my phone or linking it to Koala, for instance, is really easy because there is a cable that you can get, which is USB-C with 2 RCAs on the end. So you can actually connect that directly from your iPad. I've done this already, or your phone straight into the back of the 303 and record onto the 303 that way. But all those memories came flooding back to me about the 303, about how much of a ball ache it is to sequence. Weird things like when you sequence with quantize on, with drums, when you hit the drum, you'll hear the drum hit, but you'll also hear it put onto the pattern in the quantize place. So it sounds like it's double tapping, but it actually isn't double tapping. It's writing the note to the nearest point on the grid, and it's also listening to you hit it at the same time. So it's quite difficult to write beats when you've got quantize turned on the SP303. I thought I was the only person that had that, and I actually thought it was a problem with my 303, but I've seen another YouTuber, Non-Jura, he does a lot of really cool 303 videos. He had it on one of his videos as well, and I messaged him and said, thank God I'm not the only person. And he pretty much said, thank God I'm not the only person. So it's fine if you write beats without quantize on, which is kind of in some ways what the 303 can be about. It can be about just doing the resample technique, not actually putting anything on the grid at all, or maybe just the one and just the one with the kick drum and maybe 4 on the snare drum, just to kind of keep everything together. But other than that, maybe you do want to write completely without quantize. But if you do want to write with quantize, let's say, for instance, you're making house music and it kind of has to be quantized if you want any DJ on the planet to play it, because most DJs can't mix nowadays. Ooh, controversial. you need to quantize it. So I wrote a few quick house beats on there, used the quantizer, and yeah, it is a little bit of a ball ache. So then I thought about linking it up with the MPC Sample. It's really easy to link up to the MPC Sample and equally as fun. But it sits alongside the 404 really, really nicely. They look cool together as well. By the way, that isn't a skin, that is actually a metal cover. MPC Stuff have got them back in stock. They do a whole bunch of colours. They do a chrome one, which is, you can see them facing if you want to look at your boat all the time. They've got anodised red, blue, etc. I just went for the silver. But weirdly enough, when I went for the silver, I didn't know that I was going to be getting my 303 back. But as it turns out, now they sit next to each other and look really nice. But I love it. I've always wanted a silver 404 and I just think it looks really cool. So that's the workflow that I've got going on at the moment. But there are so many different things that you can do with it. And I'm really enjoying using the 303 as kind of as a sound source. I haven't even touched on really showing you using the effects in that workflow as well, but obviously you can as well. There's loads of things you can do with it. And do you know what? I might actually make a few videos of me actually just making a beat on the 303, even if it is a massive ball ache and I'll have to do loads of editing and retakes, etc., etc. But I might still do it anyway. So thanks for watching. This is The Crazy Motel. My name's Conan, I'm a concierge. Till next time.
Concierge.